Happy New Year, everybody, and welcome back to my show. Hope everybody had a great New Year's, and to start off, we have yet another giveaway announcement. This time, I'll be giving away five of these Larry Elder Show mugs. And who doesn't want to have a matching mug with me? So make sure you go to winlarry.com right now to enter the giveaway. I'll be announcing the winners this month, January 20th, live on the Larry Elder Show on Epic TV. So be sure not to miss it. Again, that's winlarry.com. Got that? Capiche? And of course, thank you to everybody who signed up for the last giveaway. We love engaging you guys, so please let me know in the comments what you want to see next. Now let's get into today's show, shall we? Epoch Times produced a documentary called The Truth About January 6th. It's available on our website. It exposes the many myths and lies about that day, one of which is that 5 police officers were killed at the Capitol on January 6th.
We are gathered here to honor their memory and acknowledge with deep gratitude the tremendous bravery of the hundreds of officers who defended us at this citadel of democracy that fateful day. As a result of the events on January 6th, the lives of 5 heroic officers were lost.
These people and the people representing those who couldn't be here because they gave their lives for this is incredibly consequential. And that's not political talk, that's historical fact.
Officer Sicknick died after being hit in the head with a fire extinguisher.
Sicknick died after being hit in the head with a fire extinguisher.
Officer Brian Sicknick died after being hit in the head with a fire extinguisher during the hours-long attack.
They beat a Capitol police officer to death with a fire extinguisher.
Officer Brian Sicknick died after being hit in the head with a fire extinguisher during the fight.
He died at the age of 42 after he was bludgeoned with a fire extinguisher.
One slight problem: none of that you just heard is true. None of it.
Of course, violence on January 6th was not limited to just fighting and riot control. In the aftermath of January 6th, 4 police officers who were present that day committed suicide. Yet there were also people who died that day. After the incidents on January 6th, one of the first stories that a lot of the media were reporting was this Officer Sicknick, they reported, had been beaten to death by protesters using, I believe, a fire extinguisher. What was the real story with Officer Sicknick?
Well, the real story is his death was ruled by the medical examiner as from natural causes. He had a stroke, and there was no fire extinguisher thrown at his head. But we continue to hear this used even in prosecutions, and our own president over this recent weekend at a commencement said the rioters killed 2 police on January 6th.
They're saying 2 police now. Who's the other police officer?
We'd have to ask him. But these things just keep being repeated. We've even seen this brought up in court hearings, and a couple times we've had defense attorneys speak up and say, whoa, wait a minute, that's not true. 4 people died January 6th. They were all Trump supporters. Officer Sicknick died the next day, and his case was not a result of being struck with any object.
So just to review then, 5 deaths total from January 6th. Officer Sicknick appeared to die afterwards from health complications. We know Ashley Babbitt was shot and killed. Roseanne Boyland appeared to have died during the incident, although it was ruled as amphetamines. And then 2 individuals who had heart attacks or strokes. It appears that it was triggered very likely by munitions that officers had used against them.
There certainly could have been. I mean, they were close enough that would be a concern.
So, no, 5 officers were not killed that day. That is a lie. Are the Biden administration's New Year's goals of tax and spend and turn a blind eye to inflation at odds with your goals of securing your savings? When you finally had enough of the games the government is playing with your savings and retirement, diversify into gold with Birch Gold. I know I'm tired of my money being impacted by stupid decisions by leaders in Washington. Now, for over 5,000 years, gold has withstood inflation, geopolitical turmoil, and stock market crashes. And here's the great news: you can still get it. In fact, you can own gold and silver in a tax-sheltered retirement account. Birch Gold makes it easy to convert an IRA or 401k into an IRA in precious metals. Here's what you need to do. Visit LarryForGold.com to claim your free info kit on gold. With almost 20 years experience, converting IRAs and 401ks into precious metals IRAs, Birch Gold can help you. Protect yourself with gold today by visiting LarryForGold.com. With an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, thousands of happy customers, and countless 5-star reviews, secure your future with gold. Start today with a free info kit. There's zero obligation to make this request. Just visit LarryForGold.com. That's LarryForGold.com. Epoch Times has reported that there were more than 270 sudden cardiac deaths in U.S. athletes after vaccination, according to a peer-reviewed study. Here's what Dr. Peter McCullough said about this.
What we've learned is the highest risk group is age 18 to 24. In men, 90% of these cases are young men, as shown by Scharf and colleagues in the preprint server system. And then a report by Gill and colleagues from Connecticut coroners, backed up by analyses from the University of Michigan and the University of Wisconsin Pathology, published in one of the best pathology journals, Archives of Pathology. 2 young boys, 16 and 17, they take Pfizer and they die on days 3 and 4 after the Pfizer shot. They're found dead at home. And the parents are horrified and they call for an autopsy. And the autopsies show, indeed, the kids died of vaccine-induced myocarditis. But the interesting finding is the histopathology looked like there was an overlay of what's called catecholamine toxicity. There must have been a surge of adrenaline. Now, this may have been from antecedent athletic activity, we don't know, or it could just be in the throes of dying, the struggle of these boys. They died at home, their parents weren't there, struggling for the last breaths of life before they died of the vaccine. That could have been the surge of catecholamines. But lead investigator, Dr. Flavio Catagiani from Brasilia, Brazil, I just interviewed him on the McCullough report. He believes it's perfectly consistent with the hypothesis that the vaccine sets up the heart inflammation, which can be very subtle. In fact, some of it can have no symptoms whatsoever. And then it's the big surge of adrenaline during a soccer game or during a basketball game, during sports, that's triggering these deaths. And boy, that theory fits. And he has a paper out in the preprint server system outlining how that really happens. And now, today, it's on my Twitter feed. There's a school physician office that said that no child will play until they have blood tests to see if they have heart inflammation. So now the vaccine is creating extra medical procedures, even for clearance before athletics. And now 3 countries, certainly in Canada, Hospital for Sick Children, the UK, as well as Australia, the governmental authorities have issued guidelines for doctors, largely cardiologists like myself, to follow for screening, detection, and management of vaccine-induced myocarditis. It's as if this heart damage occurring with the vaccines is now becoming a normal part of medical life for cardiologists.
Now, we have absolutely no idea whether Damar Hamlin had been vaccinated. And most doctors say, even if he has been, it's clear that the vaccine had nothing to do with what happened to him on Monday Night Football. But it certainly deserves to be looked into. Now, when we come back, what did Kevin McCarthy give up to become Speaker of the House? Now, be sure and hit that like button, hit subscribe, because I know you like the show, and scroll down and be sure to get on our mailing list, because believe it or not, every now and then, YouTube has a problem with our videos. So to make sure you get all of our videos, sign up for our mailing list. And also hit that donate button. Make sure we can keep coming at you with great programming, new programming, hard-hitting programming, honest programming. Throw a little something in the tip jar, okay? And remember, LarryWithEpoch.com, LarryWithEpoch.com.